Hey y'all, I just want to jump on here and share something with y'all real quick. When I was sitting here and I was just spending time with the Lord or whatever, right? And I was just reading or whatever like that. And the first thing that was coming up or stirring in my spirit was, don't forget, 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 don't forget. And oftentimes when we think about don't forget, we think about don't forget your Lord, your God, right? And first of all, before I just, go any further, I want to say this. When I was sitting here and I was thinking back over my life, over my past, how God did so much for me, right? How He delivered me and set me free, even set me free from myself or whatever. Helped me with changing my thoughts, my attitude, my character, dealing with my feelings and emotion, whatever the case may be. I was in the world longer than I had my relationship with God. What that mean? I'm 39 years old. So half of my life I had dedicated to the world, and now I'm dedicating the rest of my life to God, right? So I was in the world longer than I was with God. But what I thought about, I just didn't think about just only what God delivered me from or set me free from. I was thinking about how patient God was with me when I was in the world, when I was doing what I wanted to do. He was so patient with me when I think about it. And now that I'm over here with God, I'm realizing that I want to be patient with God the same way He was patient with me. I want to be patient with God with fulfilling whatever He spoke over my life, like how He was patient with me in the world, how He was patient with me bringing me out of the world, setting me free. Because oftentimes we'll be on this journey with God and we tend to forget what God have done. And not saying intentionally forget. You'll think about it, this and that and the third, but your actions or your thoughts or how you want God to hurry up and act in your life for the blessing or the promise, it makes you tend to forget who that same God was in your life when you was going through what you were going through, when you were going through heartache, when you were going through pain, when you were going through losses, when you were feeling abandonment, when you were feeling rejected, when you was abused, neglected, whatever the case may be, right? And God delivered you from that, set you free, shaped and molded you, loved on you, comforted you, supported you, encouraged you. You know what I'm saying? Drawed you more to Him, to the point where you get over here now in this journey with God. It's like, okay, God, when you gonna do this, or when you gonna do that, or when you gonna do this, or when you gonna do that. But you forget when you was in the world, when you weren't even thinking about God at all. And He still had that patience for you. Still was drawing on your heart. Still was knocking on that door, trying to get your attention to come to Him. He had so much patience. When you think of your life, when you were in the club, when you were drinking, smoking, fornicating, He had so much patience with me. So much patience. To the point I can't do nothing but have patience with Him for whatever He said He's going to do in my life. So the reason why I'm sharing this, don't fail to remember how God was so faithful to you, how God was so loving to you, how Lord showed His kindness to you. How you could depend entirely on God no matter what you went through, no matter where you was. How He was always there for you when you start developing your relationship with God. To the point He had so much patience with you. To the point when you come over here to God, have that same patience with Him. He deserves that. He so deserves that. Because if you can think back over your life and you think that God didn't have patience for you to the point that you ain't got enough patience for Him, something wrong with that. Something wrong with that. Serious business. Something wrong with it. I was just thinking like, darn God, you had so much patience with me when I was doing what I didn't supposed to do. Even the things that I didn't know that I didn't supposed to be doing. You still had so much patience for me when I think about it. God ain't got to say he had patience for me. I can think over my life now and see how patient God was with me trying to draw me out the world. And now I get over him with God. I'm not going to rush him to do what he say he going to do. I don't even want to have that thought in my mind that he need to rush to do what he say he going to do. Because first of all, he had so much patience with me when I was in the world. Don't fail to remember what God done did in your life. Don't be like the children of Israel when they was in Egypt. When God sent them 10 plagues. When it was time for them to cross the Red Sea. When it was time for them to enter the promised land. They forgot how good God was to them. They forgot how good and faithful God was to them. To the point it's like God had to keep proving himself to them. Don't even put God in that position in your thought that God got to keep proving himself to you when he already done been faithful to you. When he already done show himself approved to you. Don't forget. Don't fail to remember what God done did for you. Cause all the time, man, when I think about it, and I know all of it could be guilty of that. Okay, God, when you gonna do this or when you gonna do that or whatever. I get it. We human beings. But don't fail to remember the goodness of the Lord or what he already done for you. How he already done set you free from certain things or whatever the case he done did already in your life. To the point now that God's showing you promises. He's showing you things that he's going to do in your life. But now that when he showed it to you to the point now, it's like, okay, God, when you going to do it? You ain't did it yet. How long it going to take? When it going to be? What month it going to be? What year it going to be? Or this and that and the third. If he said he going to do it, he going to do it. The whole thing about it is like, man, be patient with God like he was patient with you. Be patient with God like he was patient with you. Just because now we on the journey with God, want God to move fast. But when we were in the world, God didn't move fast, did he? He didn't move fast. He was so steady, still watching, still waiting, with open arms. I love my children that much. I'm willing to wait for them. He's such a great God. He's so amazing. For real. Don't forget, y'all. Don't forget what God done did in your life. Because when you fail to remember the goodness, the faithfulness of God or what he done did in your life, when it's time for the promised land, when it's time to receive your promise, when it's time for him to fulfill your promise, you should have that same patience with God like he had for you when you were older in the world doing what you want to do when your back was against God. And looking at it like that will also just help you. I'm going to say this. It will help you to learn more patience, to have more patience with God. It will help you to have more patience with God. Because when I think about it, if I can be honest, it ain't fair that I don't spend almost half of my life right now at this age in the world. And now that I don't get over him with God, if I start being like, well, God, when you going to do this? When you going to do this? When you going to do that? That ain't fair to me. To think that God need to move on a speed or a time frame for me just because I have a relationship with God. That ain't fair for him. And we need to think like that. Like, I don't want to fail to remember all the good things you done did for me, God. How you were there for me in lonely nights. How you were there for me to comfort me. I don't want to fail to remember. I don't want to forget, God. I only want you to have to tell me don't forget. I don't want to forget how patient you were with me, to the point I can't do nothing but be patient for you, because half of my life was in the world. Half of my life was in the world. So get what? I just want to share that with y'all. I don't know. I guess I want to share that because when I've seen him reading about how the children were, in Egypt and what they did and how they complained, how they murmur and stuff like that, and they seen God move so mightily in their life, and not even only in their life, in other life. And then they still complained. They still thought they were going to die. They still said, why you bring us all the way out of here? And then not even only that. And then when it was time to go over to the promised land that God said that they could have, they still found something else to really be afraid of. You know what I'm saying? I know it's a slave mindset, but also it was just like they forgot how good God was. You know what I'm saying? How wonderful he was. And he meant what he said when he wanted to deliver them, and he did that. He fed them. He did everything that he said he was going to do. And then the closer you get to God, the closer you get to the promised land, it like we tend to forget those things. Don't forget. Don't fail to remember, y'all. Have patience with God like he had patience with you when you was in the world. Until next time.